from the people. And basically, if you reject this prophet, you'll eat your bread with shaking of hands. You'll be scattered among the nations, and pretty much that was fulfilled 70 A.D. after Christ came. His own received him not. Israel was destroyed by the Roman government. They were dispersed through all nations of the world. Another little bit of Bible prophecy, though, they were brought back to Israel. That's also Bible prophecy being fulfilled. In the book of Jeremiah, it says, "You will no longer call me the God that led you out of Egypt, but you will call me the God that gathered you out of all the nations of the world." So God, there's a lot of stuff. But back to my main point is credentials, I guess. If you wonder who I am or what I am, basically I'm just a person who reads the Bible and likes to pass it on to other people. But I got A's in sociology in school, always got A's in history. Math, that's another subject. No pun intended. But anyways, without any further ado, this is a huge, awesome subject I want to get into today. It's called provision. God will provide for you. There's some huge examples of the Bible where God took care of you. Right now we're in an economic downturn. You see it every time you turn on the news. Sometimes I think it's better not to watch the news and the markets and all that, because your mind and your psyche, you don't want to get infected with that. Oh my gosh, it's an economic downturn. Unemployment's at a new high. Oh my gosh, job stimulus. Yeah, there is. The economic systems of the world are failing left and right. We see that. You can't go in debt so much money and still keep a nation afloat and this and that. And we see that it's a reality. Poor spending. Ross Perot said, I hate to get political, Ross Perot said, if I ran a business the way they're running America, it'd be default in a year. And even America holds businesses to a higher standard. It's like, all right, you can run your business in the red for 3 years, then you got to show a profit. Okay, so if we got only X coming in, we can't have Z going out. If we want to run a big government program where everybody has medical, everybody has schooling, everybody has everything, almost a socialist society. I told you I don't want to get political, but if you want to look to the government for every single handout it can give you, and it wants to run every single program, which is great. If we're the richest nation on earth, yeah, you should have unlimited health care for all your citizens, yada, yada, yada. But you got to flip the bill for that. So you got to say, all right, if we only got this much tax revenue coming in, can we have this much going out? It's just a balanced budget. Clinton did it. He ran a balanced budget, but I'm not going to get political. I don't want to get political. I'm trying to keep it to God's provision, because economic systems ebb and flow, but Jesus said he's going to take care of you. And this is in the Matthew chapter 7, we see that. If you really want wisdom in your life, read the book of Proverbs, but you know what Jesus said? There's one wiser than Solomon standing right here. Jesus is smarter than Solomon. He was the wisest person that ever lived. If you're a Christian, you believe he was God on earth. It said in the book of Isaiah, "Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and you shall call his name Emmanuel," meaning God with us. He's basically God on earth. Yeah, that's what the scriptures say. Pretty impressive, huh? So yeah, no wonder he's the wisest, greatest ever. But his father also is God, so it's a paradox. It's interesting. Anyways, let's go right into it. Matthew chapter 7. Now, if you're like me in life, you have bills to pay. Okay, you need a place to live. You need food to eat. You need to clothe your kids. And if you're not on the welfare system, if you're out working paycheck to paycheck like I am, I'm what's called in America the working poor. I work 40 plus hours a week just to get by. Now, people write all kinds of books, how to get out of the rat race, to get money ahead, and you could do it. But 98% of America is up to here in debt, working paycheck to paycheck, trying to pay their rent, trying to pay this, yada, yada, yada. Don't stress it. Of course, work. Now, if you work, you'll eat. That's why people flock to America. In the Irish potato famine and all this jazz, they're like, let's go to America, because there, if you work, you can at least get some bread and something to eat. So if you work, you eat. So that's correlated. But there's a higher principle involved that Jesus says here. Let's get right into it. Matthew chapter 7, verse 7. Ask, and it'll be given to you. Seek, and you will find. For everyone that asks receives, and whoever seeks finds. and if you knock, it'll be opened. Or what man of you, if his son asks for a loaf of bread, would you give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, will you give him a snake? If you then, being evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more shall your Father which is in heaven give good things to them that ask him? Basically, he equates it to a father-son earthly relationship. I got a little baby boy named Jeremiah. If he asks for a bottle of milk, I don't give him a rock. If he asks for a loaf of bread, I don't give him a snake. You know, so basically, God in heaven knows your needs. He knows if you need a house, an apartment, a job, a place to live, food to eat. Okay, if you, being evil, know how to give good gifts, how much more will your Father in heaven give good things to you? And then if we can kind of jump down, let me see here, because there is another verse that goes along with God's provision. I can't quite find it, but I should have had it laid out here. Here it is. Let's jump to chapter 6, right before he goes into all this, and what Jesus says in chapter 6. Therefore I say to you, well, let's start at the beginning. No man can serve two masters. He'll either hate one and love the other, or he'll cling to one and be dishonest to the other. You can't serve God and mammon. It's like moonlighting. You can't have two different loyalties in life. You can't serve God and money. You can't have two masters. Sometimes you'll be at a job and you got to break it down to loyalties. Wow, am I going to sell this product or that product? Am I going to adhere to this management staff and go in this direction, or am I going in this direction? You know, you can't serve two masters. There's certain people out there that serve the highest bidder. But basically in life, you can't serve money and God. You can't say, I'm going to do everything to make that cheddar, that money, you know, and you'll put all your scruples and everything aside just to make money. There's a rich man that came to Jesus and said, what do I got to do to follow you? He said, he goes, keep the commandments and follow me. And he said, I've done everything. I've honored my father and mother. I haven't stolen. I haven't committed adultery. I haven't worshipped idols. I've kept the law. I've honored you, Jesus. I'm following you. Okay, you're awesome. And Jesus loved this guy. Jesus said, all right, one more thing you lack. Then come and follow me. Go sell everything you have, give it to the poor, and come follow me. At this point, the guy got really sad. And he basically walked away. Why? Because he was super rich. And he got distracted. And Jesus said, man, it's hard for a rich guy to enter the kingdom of heaven. It's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich man to go through heaven. I've heard some stories about that, some analogies that there was a gate in Israel that was called the Needle's Eye, and they tried to put camels through it. And the camels could go through this gate, but they'd have to take off all the packages. And then the camel could go through without a rider, maybe the rider, but without all the stuff on it. And then they could re-put all the stuff on the other side. That, I don't know how much salt that holds, but it kind of is a good analogy. Let the stuff go, man. Think about it. When you're on your deathbed, do you say, hey, bring me my stock portfolio. I want to look at it one more time. No, you say, where's my kids? Where's my wife? Where's my family? I want the people that love me around me. And how is my soul with God? This guy traded his soul for the money and possessions he had. But Jesus said it even better. He goes, you know what? Any of you who give up riches, houses, family, things for my name's sake, I'll give you more in this life and eternal life, the age to come. So Jesus said, don't worry about it. If you lose your house and this and that to follow me, I'm going to give you 10 houses, 100-fold. If your family